What's going on, everybody? Jim here. I've got an unboxing and a product review for you guys today of this massive box right here. This is from Phenyx Pro. It's the PTU-2U microphone system. It's wireless. There's a lot of stuff in this box. I was trying to think of the best way to kind of like just give you an idea of what this purchase would get you. There's a lot to it. I mean, this is a massive, massive box. It's got a handle on it. That should give you an idea of just how much stuff is inside here. But as I'm opening this up, I want to talk a little bit about what I like about a product like this and why I think you might be interested in something like this. So I would say for day-to-day, the standard microphone will probably get the job done, right? But if you are getting into audio recording of like a band or a conference or a large gathering of people, you're going to need something that can manage wireless frequencies well and give you a nice strong signal and have lots of options and customizability from the control center. And that's what this unit promises to bring. I have reviewed other Phenyx Pro stuff on my channel. If you check out my audio guides playlist, you'll be able to go through all of them. I have yet to get something from these guys that has not made me happy. There's always been goodness in these boxes, and I believe that this is going to be more of that based on the reviews I've seen online, but also just because I know that in experience of working with them, they do pretty good stuff. So inside you're going to get a user manual. You're going to want to hold on to this. I'm pretty sure I know how all this stuff goes together, but it can be kind of complex if you're new to this kind of thing. And the idea behind everything is that you want to set it up right the first time so you can enjoy rich, vibrant recordings in the future. So inside we have a nice... everything's packaged super well. They do a really, really good job. Even the box that it came in, I was really, really surprised. And something cool about this unit, I don't have a cabinet yet, but I want to get one because it's a 1U unit. And if you're familiar with how this works, you could bolt this into a rack and it would just work. And I think that is so neat that they've included that. So on the front here, we've got the different volume knobs here, the different sets, the power. And then on the back, we've got a couple antennas, a channel B, channel A, an input. Pretty standard stuff. If you know what you're getting into, then this kind of makes sense. But the fact that it's solid, the fact that it's rack mountable, that's actually really, really cool. It makes me want to get a rack just to mount it for no other reason than to have a small rack next to my computer and to just, have everything nice and neat there. Inside, you're going to get a lot of stuff. Oh boy, is there a lot of stuff to go through here. And that's okay. Let me just make a little bit more room on my desk because we are, of course, very well prepared here on the channel. So first and foremost, you're going to get the wireless headset. Now, this unit does allow for wireless recording. Obviously, that's kind of the whole point behind it. So they give you a nice wireless headset here. Not much to it. It is designed to be lightweight. It's a light metal band with just a very simple boom microphone that just rests on your head very comfortably. And then you can position the microphone kind of however you want to get that nice, vibrant audio. Obviously, it doesn't have any, it's meant for transmission, so there's no earpiece to this, obviously. This is a one-way street for you to record. But obviously, if you're on a stage or something where you were using your hands a lot and you wanted to be able to talk and present at the same time, something like that makes a whole lot of sense. And you're probably wondering, let me see if I can find it here. Probably wondering, well, geez, where does that plug into? I thought you said it was wireless. Well, it includes a really cool little, what they call a body pack. And it's got a metal clip on the back, so you could clip this onto your belt, you could throw it in your pocket, whatever. Your microphone will plug into this, and you will be able to record wirelessly walking around with this. That's really, really cool. We'll test all this out in a little bit. It also includes a couple antennas to give you a lot of signal strength. Now, I don't know if they say on the box here what the range on this is. On other units, the sound tests I have done, this thing is very, very strong. In the past, I've been able to record upstairs, so you're talking going through 4 or 5 walls, up through a second floor in the back of my house, and it still sounds pretty good. The fact that you're most likely not going to be recording walking around through a house with tons of obstructions between you and the control unit, I think gives you an idea of how powerful this is, especially in an open environment. So think of something where you were presenting in front of a lot of people, or think of a place where you were trying to record something. So let's just say I had a drum kit over here, or I wanted to record a guitar, or I wanted to do some sort of podcast with my buddy and have him sit here and I could sit there. We're all kind of in the same area, but you have that flexibility if for whatever reason you want somebody to go sit in another room and interview them, like blind interview style, or have a split screen if you were doing some kind of like co-op experience where you wanted to have everybody mic'd up in kind of their own environment. This thing will handle that with ease. And I think that's really, really cool. I've already showed you that. It also includes a standard microphone here. Now, these are very similar to the other microphones that they have. It's got the metal case on top, very solid construction. And basically the rule of microphones, in case you're not familiar with the wireless microphone, is you want to eat the mic. So what a lot of people recommend is just press it up against your chin and just hold it like there. You just want to talk right over the top. If you talk down into it like a singer and you know what you're doing, you might pick up plosives, which is the puff of air that comes out of your mouth when you're talking. P's and B's have a lot of that plosive sound. So unless you know what you're really doing with tuning to adjust the gain to make sure that you're not getting too loud into it, the recommendation is just press it against your chin and just talk right over the top. Now, if you were using this, let's say as a band, to record a band like a drum or something, you'd obviously put a microphone stand and press it right up against your guitar, right up against your drum set, that sort of thing. It also works well. There's all kind of like universal mounts. It also works well if you wanted to mount it to something, like if you wanted to have somebody talking in front of a presentation to speak, where they didn't actually have to physically hold the microphone. Because a lot of times when people are doing that with the microphone, they're moving all over the place. But it's nice that this kit includes that as well. And then it also has a smaller variant if you want to just a lavalier microphone. So this just clips onto your shirt. Basically, you could tuck the wire up under your shirt. Similar rules apply because of the omnipresence of this. It's not a cardioid microphone. It does tend to pick up things like rubbing against your shirt, or it does tend to pick up background sounds. And that's why this is recommended mostly if you want to keep it in a static environment, again, like on the side of a bass or an amplifier to pick up sound that way. Or if you were giving a presentation where you're not doing a lot with your hands. If you're doing a lot with your hands, you're probably better off using the more directional microphone, the one that sits on your head. But if you're doing a presentation where you're not really opening or unboxing anything, a lavalier microphone works phenomenally. And you'll see, now that I've told you about all these things, I guarantee you watch the news, you're going to see all of this and more, and it's going to make a lot more sense why. And then inside the box also you get your standard connection cables. If I can open them up for you, you got the various adapters depending on how you want to connect the unit. Nothing too exciting here, standard cables. Most of them come with adapters, so that depending on what kind of output you have adapters for that. These are pretty easy to find, but it's nice that it includes a set, and then it also comes with a couple sets of batteries and the actual power brick to get the box up and running. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to do a quick pause on this video, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to test it out. We're going to hear how it sounds. I'm going to plug it into my PC, and we're going to hear if it is something that you should be interested in. I'm really, really excited for this, so stand by one and I'll be right back. And through the magic of the internet, we are back, and now I am recording on the Phenyx Pro. You can see here that I am actively transmitting. The nice thing I like about this is it shows you the gain right on the microphone, so you can tell how it sounds. Now, it's really cool because it includes a significant amount of channels to change through. Now, it automatically put me on channel number 36, but there's a lot of channels to go through, and that's really, really important to understand with wireless technology, because as I've talked in a lot of my other videos, when you think about wireless technology, think of all the signals you're competing with: your cell phone, other wireless technologies, wireless networks, you name it. Anything and everything could potentially be bouncing or distributing waves that you have to compete with. And that's what I like about these packs, especially with the dedicated antenna, especially with the dedicated antennas on the front of the actual PTU-2U unit. It's really, really nice. It's going to basically let us record with ease and without fear of any kind of issues going on. And then even on the front of the controls, I can actively look to see how the RF is doing, and I can tell the gain is good. And I also see I have a nice strong signal. See, that's something that a lot of the other units don't necessarily do, is it just says connected. So if I start to walk away, that meter will actually start to go down, and when it does, it lets me know, hey, maybe I'm competing with another network, and maybe I need to do something a little bit different. This runs on AA batteries. I can put it in my pocket and go out in the world and begin presenting with ease. So that is the first headset we're going to try, and then I will be right back with the lavalier headset, and you can hear the difference between the quality in the two. And we are back, this time checking out the lavalier microphone. I'm still using the same battery pack. Again, you can see it is actively transmitting while I am talking, and it looks like it actually changed the channel since I have been unplugging and plugging things back in, but it works pretty well. The thing with a lavalier microphone to keep in mind, lavalier microphones being omnidirectional will pick up everything around you. This is great in a presentation setting where you don't want to have anything impeding your hand movement or any kind of cords running down. You could easily tuck this into your shirt and just go. But keep in mind, it will pick up a lot of the sounds around me. You'll start to hear more hums and hisses of electronics equipment as you're kind of tapping and bumping things. Now, you can play with the gain a little bit, and I had to do that here to raise the gain ever so slightly, different than the microphone that's right in your mouth because you're competing with the world around you. But doesn't make it any less better or worse. It's just a different microphone solution. The nice thing with this product is because it has this pack as well as the other connections, you could have this set up with something else, and it works really, really well. So I just wanted to go ahead and test this one out so you could hear it as well, kind of compare and contrast. Mostly they will sound similar, although lavalier mics to me sound a little richer in sound because it's picking up everything, including the reverberation, similar to the way you would probably hear me talking naturally. You might hear my voice bounce off on the wall and come back towards you, or kind of bounce or muffle around a little bit. I think it has a warmer sound because of that, but there is no golden ear. That's the one nice thing about sound and recording. It's kind of up to you. A use case for this obviously would be, as I mentioned previously, putting it next to a large speaker where you're trying to distribute sound quickly, or if you're doing a recording, maybe at the base of a woofer, or at the connecting near something that is emanating sound. This also works very well in an interview setting, or if you are on the go, because I am free, I don't have any cords or connections, anything around me. I am free to go wherever I want, completely independent of the world around me. I'll stop here and I'll come back one more time with the other microphone and we'll wrap up this video. All right, we are back. I'm going to do the kind of tried and true method of pressing the microphone against my chin when talking. That way, as I'm moving around, the microphone is not changing the volume away from my face. It's the same distance, and you get a good sound. Now, this is going to sound more vibrant, considerably more vibrant than the other two microphones, largely due to the way the technology works in a wireless microphone of this size. There's more ways to capture the sound, so it's going to sound richer and fuller, but it's also more susceptible to things like this, plosives and hisses and hits. And that's why if you're going to be using a microphone like this, you got to be very, very cognizant of where you hold it away from your face. Now on the box, there's actually two separate gauges on the front. One is for the wireless pack, and this one is a dedicated other connection. Currently, I'm on frequency 567.4 megahertz. How exciting is that? But you can easily adjust the gain just with turning the knob up and down very, very simply. I'm looking at the gain on the front of the unit, as well as, does the microphone actually have it? No. Most microphones don't have it because it kind of wouldn't make sense, would it? You'd be like, hold on, let me talk. Nope, I can't see it. The only thing the microphone unit will tell you when it's on is how much battery life you have, and it'll start to indicate when you have a low battery. But for the most part, you don't want it to be disruptive. You're going to have to tune this one directly at the unit and then walk around freely. To me, I'm going to guess, and I haven't heard any of this yet. I'm just doing this recording right now. I'm going to say this one probably sounds the best based on the technology. You're going to capture much more rich, vibrant sound out of something in my hand than you are out of a little small microphone over here. But they all do have their use cases. Obviously, in a situation like this, now I have to hold it. It limits my ability to move around freely. So we'll stop this video here, and then I will jump back on my other setup, and we will wrap up with a debrief. So here we go. So to debrief, to wrap up, kind of as expected, wireless is definitely an acquired taste. It requires more tuning, obviously, than a wired solution, but the advantages are the convenience and the mobility, particularly if you are being mobile, if you're setting up a sound stage, if you're walking around, if you're presenting something. And I think with some tweaks, I can make that microphone sound almost as good as this one. You got to keep in mind, this wired microphone that I have here is a known measured distance from my face. I've adjusted the gain, I've adjusted the bass boost, so it's not definitely a one-to-one comparison, but I will say this sounded pretty darn good, and I think that this is probably gonna sound very, very similar if I spend some more time tuning it. As expected, the convenience of the lavalier microphone and the over-the-head microphone, you do lose a little bit in the microphone quality, but you gain up for it in convenience. I like this unit as a summary. I think the Phenyx Pro PTU 2 unit, it's nice. I think that there's definitely some great accessibility here. The fact that you can mount it into a rack if you were doing something with audio equipment and it's just there when you need it is awesome. I think that it's intuitive enough to understand, but also complex enough if you want to start tweaking some of the finer frequencies and tunings, you can absolutely do that. Of course, the age-old rule of anything with sound recording, you could always fix it in post. So if you don't like the way it sounds, you could obviously go in and start adjusting waveforms and gains and bass boosts and that sort of thing. If it's something you really need to do, you'd probably end up doing something like that if you were trying to record music or trying to get a nice deep sound on a podcast, especially if you're talking with two people. The nice thing here is there's dedicated channels, so you can gain the volume, jump up the gain on one person and lower another so that the audio levels don't sound too inconsistent. But I like it. I think the accessibility and usability is there. So if you're looking for a solution that includes kind of everything, it's a rack-mounted solution, you might want to check this product out. I will post a link to it in the description box below. While you're down there, please consider subscribing to the channel and also check out my other audio guides playlist. I do have some other Phenyx Pro technology that I have reviewed in the past is there as well. I think it's a great product for somebody who's wanting to get into wireless, and I do recommend it. So that'll wrap up today's video again. Thank you guys so much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and until next time, I will see you guys on the other side. Bye-bye.